Joined by Paul Doswell on a lovely Friday morning ahead of an away trip to Slough. Paul, what are we looking at right now?
Well, it's a lovely morning. I think the last 2 weeks have pretty much been blowy and raining and windy, but no, it's a fantastic scene here today. Obviously we've got all the kids here as well on their half term. It's great to see the walking footballers as well doing their bit, and obviously the first team are training hard and preparing for the game tomorrow.
We haven't caught up since that win on Saturday. How was that for you and how important was it?
I think it was a huge win in the context for the football club, for myself, for the players. I think it's given everyone a real boost sort of for this week. I think the lads carried on working and grafting during the poor run, but you know, it was said to you many times, it was important to go and get that win. And now it's equally as important to see if we can back up that with another win on Saturday against a team that we traditionally have struggled against in Slough. So no, big game Saturday, and like I said, if we can start to win a second and then a third, then you know, we don't know where the season then could take us, but Saturday's the next game and therefore it's the most important.
So it's safe to say it's done wonders for confidence and morale in camp?
Yeah, listen, football's all about confidence, and when you're not winning, your confidence within the group can go, and I think when you're winning you never feel you can lose. So you know, both of us, I think Slough had a 6-game run without winning. They then went and beat Ebbsfleet away, which is an amazing result, I think, and then had a good win against and backed it up with a good win against Welland. So they've won their last 2, and obviously we've won on Saturday and want to go and try and get another 3 points.
But it's going to be a tough trip.
It's always a tough trip there. I know Neil and John really well. They got a very good side there that's been together, most of them now, for some time. But I think what Bakes and Unders have done particularly well this year is they brought in 3 or 4 of their academy boys. You know, very impressed with those 3 or 4 young lads as well. Hunt in particular, I like. You know, the 2 Y boys, they've now got an entire Goodrum. Tenkoni up top, Imran playing on the wing as well. So you know, you look at what they've done. They've now mixed in 3 or 4 really good young players with legs in amongst that real experienced group. You've Scott Davies and Lee Togwell, who, you know, like I said, Josh Jackman. So there's a number, Jonathan North. There's a number of experienced players, but they've now got that youthfulness in amongst their squad as well, and I think it's working well for them.
Is there an update on our squad at all?
Yeah, it doesn't really get any better, you know, which is the main disappointment. We've had the result of Rooney's MRI scan, and that's showing a tear, quite a significant tear in his ankle. So you know, that does look as though he's further weeks away. So he's no closer to coming back. Josh Passley, his mum is currently in a hospital, so he's with his mum. But on top of that, he's got soreness in both of his knees, tendonitis in his knees. Oscar might make the bench based upon having an injection in his broken toe. So, as I said, nothing, no good news to report. But obviously, the lads that played last week are all fit and available. So, from that perspective, we've got probably 15 that will be taken down to Slough with us.
I bet you're glad the new lads are settling in well.
Yeah, I think that's the big plus. If you look what Manny Dooku's brought into you've seen him there this morning. You know, he's got a fantastic way about him. You know, a real smile on his face when he comes in. So I think Manny and Steph have added really well to the group. And then you've got, you know, perhaps the more serious side of Alfie Whittingham, who's shown a real professional attitude since he's come here. And then Sam Smart, who's a real character in his own right. And I think those 4 people have really given the squad a different perspective, if you like. And you know, you look again at Guy Hollis. I mean, you know, we signed him from Slough. He's played 12 minutes for us. And I think he'd have been the 5th person that would have given the group a real boost. But we're still hopeful getting Guy back sometime in March. We don't know when, if the truth be known. He's still probably another 4 weeks away yet. So hopefully we'll see Guy maybe sort of 2nd or 3rd week in March. But no, the group's good. As I said, they've always worked hard. They just needed a little bit of luck in football, I think. And they've got that win on Saturday, and that was much needed.
You just mentioned Guy there. I bet he would have loved to have been involved.
We had a fantastic 10-11 years at Slough, and you know, I know that he was very grateful for his time there. I know he got on particularly well with their management team, and it's probably a big call for him to make, you know, at this stage of his career. Did he want to stay with Slough, or did he want to try and, you know, go into, and I'm not saying a better side at the minute because they're above us, but he wanted to go into a club that perhaps trained during the day, and you know, we do the 3 days, and you know, Neil, he was disappointed, obviously. You know, to only last 12 minutes and then be out for potentially 2 months is not a good way to start anyone's career at a club. But I know he's he's working hard away from the club. He's doing a lot of physio in London. As I said, he's seen the surgeon twice now. But we are still 3 to 4 weeks away.
And just finally then, I think the overall goal now is to get on a little bit of a run and build on that win.
I think there's 2 ways to look at the last 14 games of the season. Certainly you want within that 14 games to show that you're on the right path for next season, because as I said, a lot of the signings that we've made here would be with us for next season. It's going to be a big ask, we know that, to think about getting in the playoffs, but we haven't given up on that idea. We spoke about it again this morning, and realistically, you are looking at having to win probably 10 of the last 14 games. So we know the task in front of us is a big one, but you never know in football, and as I said, you never give up until it's mathematically impossible not to do it. But I think the one other thing you have to try and do is see and get this group ready for maybe even the start of next season to go again, and that's going to be the interesting watch really for me, is the next 14 games. Can we do well enough to give us that confidence going into potentially into next season?
Lovely. Cheers, Daz.
Cheers, Andy.